welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of longtime friends and internet nerds transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons and critically fumble a lot. We're missing a Brian today. Happy birthday, Brian's mum, by the way. He's promised he's actually going to watch this so that he knows what the fuck is going on. He's also okay with my NPCing his character a little tiny bit, and we did figure out a way to write him out, so I'm going to very briefly, in the hiatus between various bits of gift giving, because it was Ava and Hazel left, we're going to borrow Hazel briefly. Smeagol, we talked about this, the
Yes.
translation thing, because once the issue with the horrible sweater happened, you see Flitty kind of perk up and looks around the room, considering, and then lands on top of Barnabas's head, headbutts him a couple of times. Just beep, beep, beep. It's like, you gotta come with me. You gotta come with me. Hazel lady, you gotta come with me too. And flies over to Hazel and drags on the edge of her bow. It's, if he's not careful, he's gonna untie it. And just, wow. I had an idea. But it's gotta be. There gotta be some surprise. Obviously in Sylvan, so this is Darwin, who's put his helm back on, Clarity, and Hazel, who actually understand this bit, and everybody else is just sort of going,
I'm not bothering to translate.
Was this a secondary sugar rush? What?
Liddy has an idea. I'm grabbing Barnabas. We need to go. We'll be back.
I think just out into the corridor. Yes. Quiet things, and off they zoom, and then Flitty has brief word with Hazel, and then Barnabas, after the translation, sticks his head in and goes, Alice, really sorry about the sweater thing. I'm gonna go make this right. You don't have to. He's already out the door. And then looks at Remy. Is he always like this?
Yeah.
Really is one of us.
Well, to be fair, a part of it is welcome to lawful good. It's about the only way you can manage it in a neutral / chaotic world, the likes of Elon. We don't have the same kinds of laws in most of it, and the places that they do have those kinds of laws are usually kind of dun 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 dun. Yes. So, okay. I guess we're the two of you who are left are gonna have to leave Barnabas's presence for later.
Yeah, looks like it.
I can do that.
And Flitty's gone with him to guide. So okay. I guess that leaves you two. Who wants to go first? Boulder Parchment Shears?
Works for me.
Huzzah!
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Did you both go for parchment? 1, 2, 3.
Really?
That's all the time.
Let's try this one more time. 1, 2, 3.
There we go.
Okay, I was gonna say if you both ended up with Boulder, I was gonna be all this rocks. Anyway.
That was fantastic. Thank you.
Happy to entertain.
Sometimes you need a good laugh.
Let's start with our Dragonborn friend. So I
It always perks up a little bit when it's like I get to fill more codex entries on Furseth.
I hand him a thinnish sort of paper. Well, I assume wrapped in paper or something.
Yeah, you can have everything gift wrapped in this place in particular.
It's I forget, we said something like card. I think it was not.
Sorry, you're gonna have to do a bit more in the way of words.
Well, basically, it's a small folded portrait. Well, not the portrait's not folded, but it's a
Oh yes,
booklet
yes.
type thing.
It's kind of like a locket, but in paper. So you've got pictures on.
On the one side, there's a picture of you and Faraday, and on the other side, there's 2 second chances.
Aw.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let's go with Darwin. So yours is probably a wooden box, not super big, but not tiny, sort of medium size. And it's a real servicing kit.
Ooh. Sort of like old grandma laugh, just like, ooh.
You sound like a kobold.
I've never heard of kobolds, actually.
Yeah, that did sound
There are good kobolds too, you know.
I'm sure.
Keep that in mind because they actually have little townships apparently, and they remember they worship dragons the way dragons worship Tiamat or Bahamut. We're gonna have kobolds. They just prefer it underground.
And basically, anywhere there's dragons, you can guarantee there's going to be no less than 6 separate kobold colonies per dragon.
I just remember how tiny they were. Those townships are going to be... That's going to be adorable. Oddly so. But they're used to building for halflings and gnomes around here. Of course it's gonna work out well. Thank you, Ava. I love it. It's wonderful.
You're welcome. Hazel, you next. So yours is probably...
I just want to see if there's gonna be another prank gift.
I kind of want one.
Duly noted.
There's one last surprise coming for you, Hazel.
You know those thin boxes you have ties in? Probably something like that. And inside is a bright green ribbon with half heart on, sort of in silver thread along it. No, gold
thread. Actually, I'm going to roll the Hand of Fate because, and that's a nat 20. They actually managed, as a little extra surprise for you, to get the names of Twilly, Miranda, and all the kids.
Okay.
It's really tiny. You really gotta look to see it, but it's on the border. But you don't really know that because it's done in Halfling runes, so it's only Hazel who can read it. So it looks like a decorative thing. So she's looking at it. It's like, wait, that's where. Oh.
Yeah, you see the gears start spinning, and gibbling is starting.
Ava, I'd brace yourself if I were you.
Yeah.
And I go hypersonic.
Oh, boy.
No, what I meant, I was expecting pounce hugs. Hazel, pounce hug and stop with the noise.
Going hypersonic, vibrating, and then kind of just yeeting at Ava.
Self-yeet.
Okay, you're gonna try dodge?
Well, she's barrening at me, yes.
Okay. That would be Dex save, yeah.
Wow.
Ava sort of slides across her bed of the sofa, more or less cramming into Alice at the same time. Hazel, make me a Dex save.
Oh no.
I'm about to slam into like 16 separate things. Here we go. 19.
Wow.
It's not to go ass over head off the sofa, but you do wind up sort of poof into the vacated bit of sofa. But you managed to turn that into much less ballistic hug than was originally intended, because if that had hit, you would have probably bent a few ribs and caused a few bruises. So you've had Hazel impact directly next to you, and now you're getting hugged.
Hey.
There was a thing in on the deck, the halfling stuff.
Words.
Hold on. I'm going to detach from Ava, go bring the thing back over from where it was set down before I flung, and point out the little runic stuff.
Oh.
That is.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm just going to read out the translations.
Okay,
Each name in order.
that's adorable.
And let's see, next we have... Oh, well, Barnabas, he's not here. I'll put that as such. Should I say what it is, or... well, yes, because he's not here. Or should I let them leave it back?
You may as well, because I'll be having him. He's coming back before the end of the day, and I don't think I'm going to stretch out the entire night. So I imagine he will come back later and do a thank you kindly, and he'll be watching this, so it's easier than having to backtrack next session.
Right. So his is like sort of fairly thick, but not enormous package. It's about book size. And it's basically a notebook, a blank notebook, with the idea that since he's seeing all sorts of new, weird, and wonderful things,
and him and his notebook, yeah,
he could like note it all down and tell his friends or family back in Ravnica when he gets back.
We seem to have a theme of bits of Elon that he's going to bring back to Ravnica. That's kind of cool.
What? I love the even after getting transported to a completely different area, he's still a cop with his notebook. I love that.
he loves it too. That's why he was so very grateful to have been let have one.
And next we have Clarity, which is a smallish box, inside which is a very pretty elegant, brilliant blue quill.
Ooh. It's wonderful. I'll take so many notes with it.
That's beautiful. Aw.
I noticed you like taking notes.
Only a little.
Given that this is Egref, the great thing about that particular quill, which Ava might take pains to explain, is that, with the exception of if you're copying down spells and things, because that's a very specific type of ink that's needed, that quill does not run out of regular ink.
You always having to take notes with.
I've always run my pencils down to the nubs, so this is great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Remy?
You don't have to sound quite that unsure. She celebrates Oral the same as the rest of us, you know.
No. Well, we'll start with the one I had an easier time with. Well, although I did have a little help. Had him the box of
Yeah, there might be minor smirking on Alice's part.
So the hand and box of chocolates, and this one also had a little help, since you're someone more on the practical side of things, and the hand had a belt.
Oh, thank you.
The belt, incidentally, was made to go with that dress that you picked up in Belarus with Alice's help. You never got around to getting the matching belt for it.
Mm-hmm.
So Alice apparently arranged it done.
And thus we have Alice. This is probably a fairly smallish box. In sort of classic little small jewelry box.
You guys really just want to cover me in bling. It's great.
You like
you sparkle, and you,
You
feel
are
more.
shiny,
But
so
at
you know,
this point, I have more jewelry than I have clothes.
it's not a bad life.
Thanks to gods for prestidigitation, though.
And it's a anklet with that have wings that wrap around the ankle, basically. It's like
Awesome. That's probably like the one bit of me that isn't covered in shiny these days.
kind of why I sort of there because you already have bracelets and necklaces.
And then just hold up the hand with the ring on.
And rings.
Well, you know, this one's practical too.
You're going to be an absolute magnet for everyone looking to come up with jewelry designs when we walk into Cragveer if we do.
That's assuming that Cragveer is still mentally stable enough to be doing jewelry bits and pieces. But of course, there's also Mining Consortium territory. I wonder if they do any of the jewelry crafting in the area because it's probably easier to transport than like base metal. Anyway,
Probably lighter. Yeah.
Well, that's what I meant.
Right. Sorry.
That's cool. That's fine. It's good. Thank you, Ava. That's great.
You're welcome. I think that's everyone. So
Yep. Looks like it's Hazel's turn.
Okay, there's the Barnabas thing, which going to produce a it's a pencil case with and a widget sort of attached to the case that is some kind of Agrif style contraption. It's a case with a pencil sharpener and pencils.
Only an
And
Agrif.
a-
Oh my god.
and then I'm going to hold up a little booklet that looks like it was sort of a notepad that initially was a notepad and then was modified. There's coupons in here for a meal made by me of his choice. Basically, he tells me how to cook it, I do it.
Okay, that's adorable.
That is so much adorable. Oh my goodness.
It makes wonderful use of Darwin's war skillet.
Exactly. I
When
love
I'm
it. That's
not
brilliant.
hitting things with it, it will be used for cookery properly. It's weighted like a mace. That's just gonna stay back here forever.
To think my axe is replaced so easily by cookware of all things.
Oh no, it's joining the axe,
I'm teasing you.
and I'm running with it.
Into the nearest wall.
Exactly.
Mwah.
I'm as clumsy in wordplay as I am physically.
You're better about that on both counts.
And speaking of the axe and the person who gave it to me, some fiddling about, and out comes a bottle sort of thing. It looks like a glass shampoo bottle.
Okay.
This is supposed to do something about the hair thing, because you had to remove so much of it. This'll help it get back to its true gloriousness.
Takes the bottle, looks at it, holds it, hands it to Remy, and then just sort of Hazel hug.
no.
You're adorable. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's-
I'm hoping I am, because it's better than not being so.
Yep. Of course, getting it back to the way it was, I'm gonna have to find some ways to tie it back that aren't those. My old gold hair clips. There's ribbons. It's fine. It's good. It's great.
There's ideas, there's plans.
It's fine. It's good. I'll figure it out. And if nothing else, I can get. I'm sure various individuals would be happy to help me braid it until I can. Yeah, brushing it's gonna be fun. Anyway, thank you.
Now chaining from that, wrapped package, little suns all over it. Hand that to Remy.
Ooh.
When unwrapped, it contains a book with Palor's sunburst just I guess the way it like just Palor's sunburst on it as a sort of gold
It's
onset.
like the Inquisition book, except without the eye.
Yeah, except instead of the eyeball, it's a giant sunburst.
So
Well,
embossed, you mean?
Not embossed. It's like a metal piece that was bolted to it.
Oh!
So it's raised from the whole thing.
Just trying to get the image right in my head, because this is important to me.
That I got really lucky and tripped over an amazing book-filled.
You mean the kind of place where Furseth got the Idiot's Guide to Bahamut Worship?
It may well have been the same place.
Remy flips through it.
That's got loads of details on Palor, and there's a section, and I'm going to indicate in the table of contents where it is, that this covers
His solar.
his Mm-hmm.
Okay, Celestial Dad.
Mm-hmm.
This may be something that we share.
Mm. Thank you, Hazel.
Let's see. Seth.
Yes,
Yeah.
hoping it was going to be him.
Right! Fist bump!
So, your staff has been hiding in your bag this entire time.
Yep.
Behold a staff that's far easier to switch to. And I'm producing a very small wrapped cylinder. Like, it's maybe about the size of a soda can.
To be fair,
Soda can, but thinner. Like,
it's probably it's a bit more like a relay baton.
okay, relay baton. So
about a foot and a half long, and about the width around of one of those really about the width around of the average quarterstaff. When you open it, you do notice that there's because we never got into the specifics. I may have helped a little bit here, and it's a beautiful piece of wood inlaid at that bit with sort of, it looks like it could be a staff grip, and there's a bit where it's very clearly you're meant to put your thumb on, and given you know what it's going to do, you sort of hold it out, put your thumb on it, and whoop, out to quarterstaff length. Press it again, and it retracts.
Neat!
It also came with, I'm going to pull out a small, it's the typical in a little technology widget, the little instruction booklet that's just like teeny tiny, and I just take some time to unfold this ridiculous little thing and hand it to him. And on it is written both very simplified instructions for extending the staff, and also an indicator that it channels magic to a degree. Basically, an instruction of where to put energies on it and where it'll go.
Huh.
Effectively, it counts as a magic weapon.
And I think it might channel your hot and cold gloves.
Oh! Okay. Gotta love Egref.
Yeah, because it does say channel here, and it is You have it open? The staff?
Not. He does at the moment, probably. Yes, or can do
Gonna
fairly easily.
walk over to it, grab a hold of it, and just put a sacred flame at it so that it starts glowing radiant.
Okay.
And yeah, just that, except with your gloves.
That's
Okay.
pretty cool.
Handy.
No pun intended.
No.
Thank you.
It works way better with those things.
The puns are spreading like some kind of weird mimetic plague.
I didn't know I was that contagious.
Oh no. Darvin?
Oh, yes.
Going to produce a small, kind of like the moleskin journal, and hand that to him.
Ooh, yes.
If he snaps the little buckle open, first page is a vignette about Kev, and then it just goes through the whole rest of the Hearth kids as a basis for him to write songs on.
Very carefully. Close, lock, set. Walks over. Squish!
Being on the receiving end is very different.
Yeah, you're used to being on the receiving end of it from halflings. Although with Keth and Con, you probably should have got a bit more used to larger size by now.
Oh, I'm used to that's kind of where the spinning comes from.
I'm not doing the spinning. I'm just doing the squish. Thank you. I love it. It's awesome. Let go and go back to my seat. Right back up.
You want to pay attention to everybody else opening their presents?
Oh, sorry.
You and Clarity both, my dude.
Just down the rabbit hole of notes. Going to produce a L-shaped wrapped thing. It just looks like an L-shaped vaguely blob, and hand that to Ava. It's just awkward
Trying to
looking
identify
thing.
what it
You
is.
realize they have shoe boxes. But
Yeah.
you're Hazel, so fuck it.
Yeah, I insisted that I instead of going for the box, I went to one of the auto self-wrapping things and just did the So just when that's opened, it contains a set of boots. Alice will actually recognize.
Yeah, well,
These-
she given she would have helped recommend those.
Yeah, she'll very much recognize
So
the.
there's a certain amount of okay, yeah, they did good work.
Yeah, it's a set of moose skin boots, fur lined with an antler design on them.
Yeah, just across the toes, kind of. To explain, so Hazel isn't tripping over her words. Those boots are the design that the hunters of the people wear.
Mhm.
So, given that you are Myrika, when Hazel was going, I need to think of something to get for Ava, you could probably use a better set of boots, because yours are okay, but they're a little less all-terrain than the ones that the people tend to wear, and partially also a little bit of a gift for me because it means that I can see you wearing something that indicates that you are a part of my hunting band family thing.
They're beautiful. Thank you. I'm gonna pull mine off and try one, see how they look.
They're warm, they're comfy, and they even suit well with your armor, you think.
Perfect.
And going to retrieve last package. This is wrapped in paper that has little quills all over it.
You
Bouncing over
got so much mileage out of those those self-service wrapping machine stations, didn't you, Hazel?
Just kind of vibrating in place without it, yes. Bound over to Clarity and hand her the gift. In said paper is one more book. This one being one on riddles, pranks, and all manner of shenanigans. There's a whole Rube Goldberg diagrams for some of the setups.
And when she opens it, she also finds inside that Hazel has tucked something into what when you look at it, is a section on 50 fun uses for a deck of illusions. Note: it's not in my bag of holding. Must be in Froseth's, because you still have one. You gave it back to them, but everyone forgot about it.
And after she notices that, going to smooch her and just sit down next to her.
I have to thank you too, and I give her a kiss. Thank you. Great.
Sort of happy bouncing in place almost.
Froseth has the highest perception. He'll have noticed throughout all this that while most of Alice's attention is on the proceedings, she's also glancing at the clock a little bit. She's clearly expecting something. I'm letting you know so that he doesn't have to act surprised when the doorbell rings. And Alice is like, Hazel, why don't you get it? Spare Polly the stairs.
Getting up.
And when Hazel's back is turned, the look is excited and just that little bit smug.
What are you doing now?
Nothing. And Hazel opens the door. The singing happens when the little light comes on in the corridor. This is one of the more traditional Oralmus songs, more hymns than carols, really, because you're dealing less with the niceties of winter and more the actual celebrating the god. Mostly children. When she opens the door, standing outside, bundled up warm, Twilly and Miranda, Faraday and Skylar, Oscar and Zana, Candor, Lissy, and Dawn. The 8 that you can take with you in a teleport. Apparently, because Hazel asked Alice to let Twilly know, basically, that what was going on and check in. So she may have arranged that. Yeah, actually, perception check from the rest of you to see if you recognize voices. Darvin recognizes certain. Yeah. To be fair, Remy knows Alice.
This is true.
Yeah. He's first noticed the look, and he's like, "Okay, but why people come door to door singing? Because he's never been in non-monastery for Oralmus before, so he's too busy focusing on. Wait, they sing hymns at doors? What? Clarity is a little stuck on most of them, but there's a certain young male, I really don't know what I'm doing, and I'm a little bit weirded out by all this, but okay, that she recognizes as candor. And for Ava, it's a similar thing. It's like, okay, one of those sounds like a fairly excitable half orc, and mostly though the one she truly recognizes, because she hasn't heard Dawn all that often, is Faraday, who's singing sort of very well, but very meticulously, like somebody who's only just learned the lyrics.
She's so precious.
So yeah, there's Hazel watching the carolers.
3, 2, 1.
And Alice covers her ears.
I am just bursting into an entirely excitable gibber squeak that actually doesn't go hypersonic this time, and Yum out to hug people.
Yeah, there's so much hugging. Invite them in. You're gonna let all the warm air out, and that matters to some people.
In. Just between the hugging and it's just nudging everybody into the.
And yeah, this whole bunch, and well, when the clumping happens, Alice sort of reaches around behind the chaise longue. She's kind of sharing with Remy and pulls out a sack that's very reminiscent of the kids' gift pile. Y'all might want to have a little bit of a look in that while the various other people are distracted, because we're about to have company. And in they all barrel.
Oh. Wow.
Well, you'd already recognized the voices, so you knew exactly what the hell she did.
Tell the stampede of
Yeah.
Christmas mood children.
Darwin just looks like, and his heart grew 3 sizes. He's just. Yeah, it's just.
Hello all, and happy early oral miss. This is from Twilly. Hugs first, and then we can explain the whole thing, because I know this is probably a little bit sudden, but and hugs all around. But Ava's just sort of glumped by Dawn, and Froseth finds himself by Faraday and Skylar.
And cute.
Faraday just being, I didn't think I'd be back so soon, but hey! Well, since Hazel had got Alice to keep us a little bit updated on what was going on, and she happened to mention that you were having your Ormus celebrations a little bit early because you were about to go on something of an adventure. Miranda from behind the kids is sort of giving that if you give any indication of exactly what that adventure is, I will end you.
Adventuring shenanigans, yes.
And Alice seemed a little bit concerned that, Hazel had never had an Ormus without us before. So we brought as much Ormus as we could to you. Evan sends his apologies, but he was very mature about it. He actually said that he would be one of the ones to stay behind, because, as he put it, I know that I am very small and very excitable, and it's probably easier to keep track of the older ones. But he did ask me to give you this, and it hasn't been wrapped. There wasn't time. It is the world's awkwardest. You're not even entirely sure what it's supposed to be. Maybe it's a candle holder or something. It's painted very bright colors. It's the kind of thing kids make when they're 4.
And it is the type of thing that is going to be held on to until Evan's like, 90, or whatever the equivalent is in Gnome. Yeah. So yeah, that's getting cherished for a very long time.
My mum had Christmas tree ornaments that I made when I was about that age. It was clay things clearly made with cookie cutters, and right up until they broke a couple of years ago.
Aw.
And I mean, I was
Yeah.
literally 4, so she kept them for almost 40 years.
Yeah, my mother still has a Pac-Man ornament I made one year. Just this yellow circle with a little cut out of it and a little dot, and yeah.
I have absolutely no idea if anything has survived from the various assortments of things we had to craft.
My mum kept as much as she could. It's really embarrassing, actually. But anyway. And first thing that Twilly does is reach into, it's clearly her own bag of holding, and she pulls out the traditional hearth home Oral Miss maple hazelnut cake. Well, you couldn't have an Oral Miss celebration without it.
Eyes, dinner plates.
What's a good seal of you?
Well, we're going. It's a bit of a gift for the younger ones as well. Mostly seeing you, but there's a few people in one of those. I assume you've heard of the honeycombs.
I think we have.
They're
Mhm.
the little capsule hotel things.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I used to apprentice in one before I went to. Well, first I went to the Agraf Academy, and then I went out to the one in Belarus. So Miranda's just fondly, there's my little scholar. So they owe me a few favors, so we're going to be overnighting and letting the somewhat older ones see a little bit of the area. Oscar and Zana came because they might end up wanting to go to the academy themselves someday. Oscar in particular is just sort of looking at Alice like looking at the various bits of jewelry, and she's going, actually, this one I got in Belarus. And she's explaining about arcane ink and showing the tongue stud and showing the enchantments on her ring and the cuff that Remy gave her, and showing off the anklet, and just got Zana and Oscar just sort of ooh. But almost like on top of her, looking at the various bits and pieces. I have to show you I'll have to show you the outfit the outfits we wore to the nightclub. And she goes on explaining that it's partially to distract them while people dig around in the because Alice managed to get a little cornucopia of little puzzles and books and
Toys.
bags of sweets and the rest of it that straight up toys are actually weirdly hard to find in Egref. Their toys are all the learning toy stuff, so jigsaw puzzles. Yeah. They have Rubik's cubes.
Edutainment.
Chemistry sets.
Various
Yeah.
various kinetic type things.
Yeah.
Stuff that's going to try to science as much as possible.
Well, there's also word puzzles and just about any craft related thing as well. They'll also do. Egref is very big on doing things and thinking about things, and that's their form of play. So
Explains the riddling.
yeah, there's books of riddles in there as well.
Did I get the impression that Dawn was a little bit on the shy side?
It's not so much shy as basically, I mean, she's only 6, but she is about the same size as some of the older kids. And of them all, she is one of the ones that, well, she's pretty much the only one that has no idea what she wants to do when she gets older. I mean, Oscar and Zana have their, have their what I want to be when I grow up all planned out. Keth is going to stay at Hearthhome and help take care of the kids. Ramas is either going to end up a hunter or possibly a bard at this stage, given how quickly he picked up Darvin's old viol. Mela works with animals, so she'll probably wind up in Gray's Inn, assuming that they can get it back into a livable condition. Skylar is Skylar. Even Evan is like, he's gonna do something sneaky when he gets older. It's inevitable. But Dawn is mostly just, I'm 6 and everybody else has a thing and I don't have a thing yet. And they all tell me that it's okay that I don't have a thing, and that's okay, but I kind of want a thing, but I don't know what to try. I tried she's probably made noises to the effect of, I've tried everything everybody else was doing, but I wasn't all that good at it.
Aw.
And I didn't really enjoy it all that much, or else I'd have just tried it until I got better.
I'm going to sort of get out of the way so Candor can be near Clarity.
Sort of. Hi.
Hi.
I got teleported. The things I
How
do.
was that?
Weird.
How was it? Yeah.
I guess you must know something about that, huh?
I mean, I walked through a tree to get to you guys, so that was weird.
Yeah, okay.
Throughout you know how we had done some shopping earlier in the day, but we hadn't really said what we got. I'll have gotten some. I had gotten sweets for the other kids, but I know he doesn't like sweets, so I'll have gotten various like savory sort of snacks for him, and I'll give it to him. I know
thanks.
you don't like candy.
I had to ask Twilly about this. I'm not all that for the buying things, but I went looking for, and here, and holds her up a bag which he's tried to tie up with a festive ribbon, and inside are smaller, little bags and little boxes of various of the more commonly used spell components.
Ooh, these are useful.
I don't know what spells you got, but I figure that even if you don't know a spell that uses them, you can maybe trade with somebody who can get you what you actually need.
Yeah, this is great.
I went tromping out around that farm that we went to, because I got teleported there too, in a different way. There's how many ways are there to get somebody from there to here? I don't get it. But yeah. Also, did you know there were like little wingless dragon corpses? Yes. She helped. She helped. Their livers were delicious. We gotta talk about that later. Okay then.
Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. I'm just big on learning how to survive places, because if I get stuck in a forest again, I want to be able to eat.
Yes, it's important.
Yes. Meantime, Faraday and Skylar are telling Froseth, or trying to, what they got up to at the Cathay farm, and Faraday explaining the exploration she did of what was left of Molly's workshop, because she couldn't bring everything with her, and Skylar interjecting with the number of times she had to keep something from crushing bits of Faraday, or don't touch that. That's too hot. It's like you're resistant to the cold, not to the hot. Yeah, but I was looking. And then in unison. So how have you been?
Just localized, adorable.
Oh.
So much adorable.
I don't even know how to respond.
An absolute hurricane of cute.
So, they too managed to put Froseth together something of a gift. It apparently took some doing, and part of the reason why Faraday was poking around in Molly's workstation. It's kind of like the horn jewelry that Clarity wears, except it's clearly also supposed to be an armband. So it's more of a filigree bracelet than anything else. What it seems to be is a bunch of draconic runes so old that you only get a general gist of something about family lines. And in the center of it, there's the same draconic runes on your pendant that say Rhymehook. That's our family thing. It took some making, and it's kind of awkward, and I had to ask Oscar and Oscar for help, and the Skylar to keep me from crushing the stuff. So it's kind of from all of us. We're all supposed to have one when we come of age, but I'm not there yet, and yeah, Oscar's like, when you are, I'll make one. And when I'm older and a little bit better at it, I'll make one better for him. No, you won't. It has to be made by family. Or by the person themselves. You can help me make mine. Okay, that works. And Lissy is just sort of nudges up to Alice, because Lissy is shy. Lissy has been through some shit, poor thing. With a fairly large bundle. Oscar helped me with this one. We know you lost a lot of stuff, so and in the bundle is basically some nicely dyed, not too fancy, but not plain either clothes. You know, a couple of tops, a couple of pairs of trousers, a couple of skirts and things, and she's just, come here, Zana, you too.
Oh.
All the hugs. And there's little gifts for the rest of you. Most of you aren't quite as easy to shop for. Clarity's got a notebook worked on by a lot of the kids, which is just basically almost the equivalent of how I spent my summer vacation kind of stuff. What they do at Hearthhome. Clearly, they've got the impression that one day it's going to be hers as much as it is Keth's, and they wanted her to understand what the day-to-day looks like. So you've got a bit about Skylar and how a bit about Mela and how she takes care of the animals, and Skylar's berry picking, and Keth's doing the tilling and the planting and the general maintenance, and Dawn mostly has I help out everywhere, and it's just little bits of the little bit she does in the kitchen and the little bit she does in the fields and the rest of it. So it's how the thing runs in varying middling poor handwriting.
I
Funnily
will this careful study. Thank you.
and this Hazel mostly just gets the traditional stuff from the gift pile and various other little favorite nibbles and many hugs.
Given a moment, I'm going to just bump Keth in the shoulder.
Oh no, Keth didn't come.
Keth didn't?
Keth didn't. It's
Didn't.
Skylar Faraday, Oscar Zana, Candor, Lissy, Miranda,
Gotcha.
and
see.
Dawn.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to just trying to refresh. Kids heard about Darwin and the Adventurer's Abomination, right?
Yes, you did tell them about the Adventurer's Abomination.
I'm going to give them directions as to exactly where.
Yes, I know where. I know where Harley Surf and Turf is, darling. I was going to take them to the soda shop near the academy, and Toothsome,
Yes.
and Toothsome.
Oh, they'll love Toothsome.
That's going to be a surprise for all of you.
Well, we did get some of the stories, and we're really interested to see them. And we get to go Christmas shop. We get to go Roma shopping for the rest of everybody. It's gonna be good. And that sweet shop. So some of the stuff that we gave you is from there, and there's some interesting bits and pieces. Hazel, tell them about Froseth's gift to you.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to actually pull out the gift, produce one of the.
No, I thought it was only the one.
Single one.
It was just the one.
Just the one.
Yeah.
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 Hence the tell them about it rather than
Got it.
show
And
them.
the other was
Okay.
was Barnabas.
And that was the jelly
Barnabas
beans.
is the one I can.
She still has plenty of those.
Well, let's start with something a little more wacky, and I'm going to produce the box of the beans and go. These are random flavors. I don't know what's in them. The Barnabas doesn't know what was in them. Surprise me was the keywords.
It's more of a sack, by the way, but yeah.
Yeah, sack. Like
it was a good size sack too. Was,
yeah, this is just
Barnabas doesn't half-ass things.
Yeah, so this is like a big ass sack. So no idea what else is in here, and I'm going to offer.
Faraday and Skylar are the first ones in there, just because it's Faraday and Skylar.
These two goobers will go for anything.
The others, in all fairness, are kind of waiting and watching and seeing what happens. And now we roll the hand of fate for 2. You know you're supposed to be random, right? I get 18 for both. What is wrong with you? Sort of got. These are those marshmallow things. Cool.
Yep.
And Skylar, being Skylar, is just blueberry.
And then there was what Froseth got me, which was so spicy, steam actually came out of my ears.
I'm going to actually cast Silent Image of Hazel with steam coming out of her ears and her
The whole,
hair puffing.
appearance.
Yeah.
Like that.
You've got Twilly looking at the expressions on Faraday and Skylar's face and going, yes, you can have one.
It seemed pretty harmless, aside from very spicy.
Oh, Froseth doesn't take that much after the rest of the family. They usually really like spicy stuff.
If I have a chance, I'll give Dawn sweets I've got for her.
Thank you. I made you a thing. It's not it just holds out a little sack, and they are surprisingly sturdy. It probably doesn't say all that much about the flavor of them. They appear to be sugar cookies, and they seem to have been designed to look like all of you. They are the clumsiest sugar cookie versions of the Cupcake Coterie.
Aww.
Aww.
It's just
Well, I almost hesitate to try one.
It's like that's okay. That's adorable. I want to see whose head you bite off first.
I'll pick one at random.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and funnily enough, it's your own.
Darwin looks a little relieved. Kind of like
Don't
playing it
worry,
up a little.
We won't watch you eat the rest of them. Yeah, they're probably a little bit too much sugar, which is probably why they're quite so bunk, but they're edible.
Nice, very good work.
Thank you. Not that great yet, but
That's okay. You can...
Mom says that if I need teaching, she can teach me. I just wanted that to be all myself this time. Maybe I should have asked for her help this time. We do understand self-sufficiency and gifting. At which point, Skylar the Brave, frankly, just hops down from Prosa's chair, and Remy usually gets a little bit of a distance from the kids because they pretty clearly know that Remy doesn't really know what to make of them. But Skylar seems to be approaching Remy paladin to paladin.
Hello, Skylar.
And she's still wearing her frickin' scale mail. She wears it everywhere. I made you something, and holds up this little jointed wooden doll in armor that looks a lot like Remy's. She made a little toy soldier Remy.
Aww. Luke's let's say.
That's adorable. And if you take it into town, if everything goes okay, and of course it's gonna, because you're big darn heroes, and you're really good at this kind of thing, you can get Lenark to put strings on it. You can have a little you marionette.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, just gives a bow. That kid is, this is from candor to clarity, that kid is like brave enough for like 10 kids her size.
Yes, definitely.
Really not that scary.
It's not the scary, it's the intimidating. I mean, she got a really different relationship with gods than Hazel does.
That's true.
Yeah, that is very true.
And then gestures to Alice, saying, "Don't even get me started on you." Except because the innocence halo is still. Yeah, right. Well, maybe I'm here to make the gods a little less intimidating. We have Hazel for that.
I offer my hand to Candor for a high five.
Slap.
praise the sun.
Tully, meanwhile, has been letting all of this happen and cutting slices of the traditional cake for y'all. Now, we won't overstay our welcome too much because we know you have things to do in the morning. But we did want to... Well, this is sort of our gift. Just to have a family Orlemus. We like the decorations, by the way.
That was Darwin.
And Miranda's just, I think I know who it was meant for, though. Well, they do a very different sort of decoration in Goldendale. A little less of the twinkling lights, a little more of the greenery, and there's usually an actual tree in one corner. That's where the lights go. Tully thinks about it for a minute and then just it does her own. In this case, it's major image tree with lights.
That's amazing.
So we can have a tree for about an hour, I think.
Behold the power of tree.
You should have seen Hazel, her first Orlemus with us. She's just going... She didn't entirely understand the concept because those people that she was living with and through some terrible accident of birth hadn't exactly explained the whole thing to her. So she was trying to understand why Con and Bella were going out with an axe. So we were trying to explain the thing we were decorating for, and she didn't entirely understand straight off, so it was, are we celebrating trees and axes? So I let Miranda be the one to tell the story about how it's basically giving thanks to Oriel for tucking away the fields for the winter so they can get some sleep. I'm still not entirely sure I'm forgiving you for that, darling. I'm not as good at that sort of thing as you are. You're much more tender about it all. Yes, but sometimes they need awkward and endearing. You do as well. And incidentally, there is one other thing that we managed to get done, partly en route and partially beforehand, because it's a little bit of a family tradition. And Miranda digs around in belt pouch because, along with the much shortened hair, she's started dressing a bit more rogue/rangery lately, and pulls out a series of hand-carved wooden tree decorations of the sort that we are all familiar with. There's one which is the Vanadar family crest, probably very painstakingly researched, with Ava written on it in a little sort of ribbon in complementary colors. There's a very Four Elements themed bit for Seth. There's the mingled symbols of Tritherian and Palor for Remy. There's Palor's sigil and wings for Alice. There's book with arcane symbols just etched really, really tiny into it for clarity. There's a viol for Darwin. And they probably had to ask Shanaira about this one, and it seems to be the newest one they made. You've seen this symbol on Barnabas before. For him, they've done the symbol of the Azorius Senate.
Triangles!
Blue triangles, yes. Shanaira just says it's something that means something to him specifically. Where is he, anyway? He ran off. He ran off saying something about making it right after the ugly sweater incident.
Yeah,
Flitty had ideas.
sure.
The ugly sweater incident. Show him the sweatery. It would look very good on you, Remy, but I take it
Thank
wasn't meant.
you.
It wasn't meant for you, was it? It's far too
Not quite.
long for that. Oh. I don't think they're entirely at a point of wearing each other's clothing, and Miranda's like, I would imagine that they are sort of. It's just that while Remy could be talked into wearing some retailored things of Alice's, the other way around doesn't entirely work yet.
Darwin raises his eyebrow a little at the yet, catching that. Huh.
Yeah, Alice is just actually, to be fair, maybe I might have once, but barred now. Oh yes, never mind. I mean, that's unless Remy decides to put a bit more color into her wardrobe. No.
Give it a minute. I'm going to show Mom and Mama the war skillet.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
This was Darvin's idea, apparently.
I know the seller.
It's weighted exactly like a mace.
Yes, we know. We kind of insisted. Twilly's like, well, he's sort of a friend of mine, and I guess I have magic and all of that sort of thing, but sometimes if there's something unpleasant coming for your camp, you just have to hit them with whatever's handy.
Right, thank you. Yes, exactly.
It's particularly good if you're hitting something weighted like a mace that's been sitting on a hot flame for 20 minutes.
Oh.
I love you. You get it.
Point.
Thank you.
I'm a mercenary, or I was. I'm a retired mercenary now. I don't think you ever stopped being a mercenary. Take note, Remy, you never really stopped being a mercenary.
Duly noted.
Although you weren't one for anywhere near as long as I was, so it might not apply to you. You might just wind up being a paladin for basically ever.
Yeah. Seems likely.
Miranda's
Vulcan,
just
the
like,
lunch fights back.
yeah.
Clarity. Shut him sapphire. And I pull out
Oh, the butterscotch has already been, and to be fair, they're both bumbling around the wrapping paper, so it's finding which moving bit of wrapping paper is sapphire. You get butterscotch just sort of as you're grabbing. You just get butterscotch. Who tries nuzzling
this is yours.
Yummy.
Just nuzzle.
Good boy.
Aw.
And yes, it's oh, you went back to the doll's house. Wonderful.
Which reminds me, you can give this to her for me. And I quickly run over to my pack and I pull out the tiny little package. It's a working stove with tiny cookware for Jaloy.
Oh, the house. Wonderful. Thank you. I may have to make sure that the dollhouse itself is fire resistant, just to be on the safe side.
Please.
But
Might be an idea.
but you know, we had the dollhouse built a little bit. Not they weren't really expecting Equitas technologies when they built our little Harlem replica.
Yeah, that should be about the right size to take just a single coal. But perfectly. So.
Well, probably more coal chipping, but a few coal chippings is probably better because you get a much more even distribution of heat. And Alice says just, Hazel, show Miranda what Remy and I got you. The knitting stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to just produce the assortment.
You realize you're going to need a little bit. This will be a wonderful excuse to work on your manual dexterity, dear.
Yep.
And your focus.
Also, yep.
But, allow me to explain, much like the war skillet, how best to put this? She's killed about 6 different people with her knitting needles in the day.
Ugh. Remind me not to get on your bad side.
Well, they were sneaking up on me. It was impolite.
It's very impolite.
That's fair.
Fair though.
I was knitting, and they didn't notice that I'd started decreasing. That's the thing. I'm not going to slip a stitch just to inconvenience someone. But if you see me start decreasing, start running. They didn't start running.
Darvin's just writing this down for reasons.
And Faraday is just going. Everybody thought they were like just normal housewives once.
Appearances can be deceiving.
You guys are the best actresses ever. Thank you, dear. We've worked very, very hard to keep certain unpleasant individuals from noticing that we can actually do this kind of thing. But hopefully once business is taken care of on this end of the continent, perhaps there'll be a little bit more dealing with what's going on. And as far as we can tell, for the moment anyway, Goldendale proper's doing all right. We might actually wind up heading back in time for Ormus. And we may wind up taking the Cathay parents with us. We've had we've seen a fair bit of foot traffic from what Miranda tells me is wood elves. I mean, I can barely see footprints at all when they do it, so I suppose she's probably right. The ones I can see, she does say are half elves. And the thing I have noticed is some feet dragging, some bits of dried and frozen blood. They're looking for some place. What happened in the Elven Wild?
Well,
That's a bit of a long story.
we're not entirely
Actually,
sure what happened
yeah,
at the end of things.
That's why it's not a very long story. We had to get out because, well, okay. Effectively, we got ambushed in a horrific breach of hospitality. I wound up someplace I really shouldn't have been. They followed me to try to get me out. They obviously succeeded. We got some people, some half elves from the big castle place, to the nearby wood elf encampment, but there was some kind of glances at the kids altercation that we were too beaten up at that point to really get involved in. So we don't know.
Yeah, it was a bit of we got bushwhacked, and then we saved Alice, and afterwards, even after a bit of rest, there was when we walked back through to get.
Given that it was an army of Crown's Guard, there was. The thing is, we don't know. We don't know if it was the Crown's Guard doing the attacking. We didn't look. We didn't have it in us to get involved in what could have been a 3-pronged fight for all we knew. I think, and you guys are the old hand professionals, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're gonna have to establish Baronsveer before we can deal with what's going on in the Elven Wild, because we're gonna need someplace stable to fall back to, so it's not a rock and a hard place. So it's basically this thing we have in the cliffs, and then we deal with Baronsveer and then from a stronger position and with Belarus's mercenaries able to resupply, reinforce, and not be fighting for Baronsphere anymore, hit the Elven Wild and see what we can do there. Looks at Alice, looks at Remy, and it's to Remy that Miranda asks, and they denied her entry into the Brass Arrows because of something you did.
Yeah.
That
It worked out well in the end.
And Alice is like, stop pointing it. Well, to be fair, part of it was you, but the original thing was actually Hazel. You just, according to your own story, got into a pushy shovey with Hazel in the middle of Crea Bendis's throne room. And Twilly and Miranda, who apparently managed to miss this, turn around to him with appalled looks and going, "You did what?"
If Jarwin had polymorph, he'd be a bunny right now. He just kind of shrinks. You're like, oh jeez.
Twilly's like, "You are terribly lucky to still be alive, dear."
I know.
I'm still not sure how we all were at lunch.
Like, well, I verbally bitch slapped her and I'm okay. And they look at her like, what?
Yeah, we're still figuring that one out.
I don't care if she's a dragon. I'm not taking her shit. Looks at Ray. They look at Ray. It's like, congratulations, really.
Thank you.
And Alice is just, it's just so long as we don't have another set of overbearing parents, I don't think I could. They look at Remy. You have one of those. Hmm?
Yep.
Don't worry, if we ever meet them, we'll nudge in the direction of maybe let you live your own life.
I'm
We
sure
know-
my mother will figure that out in time.
And they both look at her. It's just, and Twilly sort of walks up to her, hand on her shoulder. Remy, dear, if she hasn't figured it out by now, she never will. Let us help.
Okay, thank you.
And that's assuming we ever actually meet her, which I suppose could probably happen at some stage.
Well, if you find yourself in Belarus.
Well, probably not at this time of year. We need to be around and try to keep home more or less all right. I do worry about mercenaries in the front garden. I do know.
Definitely in the farther future.
Well, you know, if you all manage to save the continent, maybe there will be trains. Proper.
I like trains.
Yes, yeah, we know.
Did we tell them about Star Coast? Forget.
Alice did. Because obviously she had to tell them why you're over there now.
Also, bit of an aside. Molly is doing wonderful. Speaking of the Cathay parents.
Yes, we do have a gift to from the Cathay parents to pass along to her. So we're kind of assuming we'll run into the soda shop. It's where everybody from the academy hangs around. And if not, I can just ask someone. I still have a few friends in the academy. You have friends everywhere, dear. That's because I'm charming. And on that note, we're a little past break time, so when we come back, we'll continue our stalling and at least sort of head in the general direction of morning, but, you know. we're back at the Riddler Stump, enjoying an early Oralmus celebration with Twilly, Miranda, and most of the Hearthheart kids. Is there anything anybody wants to do before I briefly NPC Barnabas back into the scene and we can get this party started?
Think so.
I mean, I'm assuming random fun little gifts for for everybody, and everybody being appropriately grateful, and Polly coming in with coffee, having a little conversation with Twilly. You can hear occasionally over excitable kids just going, and how's your brother? Still cross that you chose women and adventure over lifetime chained to miserable Yahoo. Well, tell him I said hi. And Miranda's just, give him my regards. Yeah, she scares me.
Oh no.
Yes, I will have to tell him about the wonderful woman who has taken the affections of the woman that he is still grumping over. Don't you just looking over, don't you just love nice guys?
I can introduce him to the business end of the skillet.
No. Living well is the best revenge. Especially when he finds out about my lovely wife and her many, many knives.
Darwin's just.
There's my face is clearly fantasizing about just knife blender in some asshole's direction.
I believe the phrase is reverse pincushion. Or no, that would be pincushion. Reverse porcupine, that's what I meant.
And about a little while later, it's a little hard to gauge time given all the excitable and tea and cake and all the rest of it. And but Barnabas steps back in and is like, whoa, and the younger kids just kind of mob him. What?
Teleportation is a wonderful thing!
Happy Oralmus. And Flitty is just sort of perched on his sword and he said, "Look! We got the people! Hey!"
I held up a piece of cake for Barnabas.
Thank you very much. But before I get into what is bound to be a wonderful cake, I'll say, really sorry about the sweater thing. So, Flitty here was kind enough to let me know about one of his new friends that works for a dressmaker, and I wanted to make it right. So I went and I did some errands and some heavy lifting for him, and in return, I got this. And brings out this box, sets it in front of Alice, and just opens it. And some of you have followed my Tumblr and have seen the dress in question, although in this case it's more red with the... Basically, it's this red, slightly floofy, but not overly dress, more of a floof you can move in rather than cupcake. And it would be sleeveless, except for this metal filigree across the shoulders and up the neck a little bit that looks like angel's wings. Which in this case has been done in a sort of a white gold to complement the red of the dress. Wow. Thanks.
Thank you, Barnabas.
It just looks at Alice. It just looks at Remy, and finally you get a blush. It's just take it I did. Good. All right then. So howdy. Why are we having a party? Because it's near the Ovalness? All right. This is wonderful cake, ma'am. Thank you. Not everybody came. Teleportation can only be 8 other willing individuals, so we had to make a few choices. And while Evan was disappointed a little bit in not being able to come by, he was the one who made that decision. He did say that he is very small and very excitable, and if we were going to be spending a bit of tomorrow in the city, which we thought we'd arrange for them, it would probably be easier if the slightly older ones came by. And Barnabas is piled with baked goods from the kids. My reputation precedes me.
Oh, show him the one of him in the pack Dawn gave me.
Hmm?
Is there one
Yes.
of him in the So I'll show him
Yes.
the one Dawn made.
Okay.
Merida and Skylar got to try the beans.
I'm terribly sorry.
No, they got good ones. They were happy.
Yeah, marshmallow and blueberry, if I recall correctly.
Uh-huh. And Alice is just, apparently Hazel got parsnip, guys. Ew! And then Skylar is, wait, was it cooked parsnip or raw parsnip? Raw parsnip. Ew! Really? Mom cooks parsnips real good.
I'm gonna pull the bag and just yarp one.
You get what actually tastes like s'more. How they managed to make chocolate, marshmallow, and graham cracker all fit into a marshmallow, into a jelly bean, you have no idea.
Tilt. I have things to describe. Excuse me. I'm gonna sidle over to Clarity and just start trying to describe the resulting taste.
Well, she did try a s'more when you guys went to Toothsome earlier.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say that they managed to put that it is like just the series in order in which it went in the bean, and I've been handing her a random bean to examine.
How did they do that? They're so small.
Is she going to eat it?
Yes.
You're mean.
What did it do?
Garlic.
Ooh, that's cruel. It's smelling my breath.
Yeah.
I like garlic, but not quite without anything else.
Well, there's tea, but it does go particularly badly with the lingering maple and nut taste of the cake.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do the president of the station can do anything about that.
Not when it's already, and Alice says, not when it's already been eaten, Darvin. No.
Yeah, you can't prestidigitate a mouth.
Okay, I think that one thing I am going to do, just because Xana is peering at the box, is like, okay, for her, and for her, points to Remy, I'm gonna go try this thing on. And then we should probably see about herding kids to sleep places. No! You want to be well rested trust me, you want to be well rested for a tour of the city. Okay.
Twilly, Miranda, when you do see Evan, please let him know I'm very proud.
We would have anyway, but thank you for saying it, so we can get the inflection right. And Twilly thinks about it, and then just and it's only a silent image, but And it's that proud. It's him with the proud smile. So, and by now the tree is gone. And a couple of minutes later, Alice A comes downstairs and with the various bits of jewelry, and she's done the hair. So what she's managed to do is clip part of it back with Ava's hair clip sort of tucked to the back. And she has never looked more celestial than she does at this minute. This is a royal banquet ball kind of dress.
Knobs' face.
That's right. Ethan's face. It's just
Oh,
okay.
God,
Those two facial expressions go at some odds. Somebody somewhere in between want to weigh in here?
You look amazing.
Thank you. That's a. Could you
spectacular.
But then I find you
Darvin,
amazing
you
and
need
everything.
to live.
breathe?
And I'm going to cast healing word on him as I do this.
So you just get this moment of glow.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Wow. I wasn't expecting radiant damage right then. Wow.
Yeah. And Xana is just meticulously studying the various bits of stitching, and Oscar's looking at the wing sleeves, and it's just I am being swarmed here. Hi. It carefully sits down so she doesn't mess the skirt up too much, so that Oscar can have a better look at the. I'm just gonna sit here for a minute.
You two are going to have so much fun tomorrow.
Yes, you're gonna take them to see Fairy Fire.
I was about to
Oh
ask.
yes, and Zana would absolutely adore that place, and you know it. There's plenty of places we're going to take them, and it's going to be marvelous. And then we will teleport back home with so many stories to tell the others.
And at some point, Evan, I will take Evan here.
Well, let's wait until the world is saved first. I think he probably needs to be a little taller, less easy to lose in a crowd.
I'd be more. I'm not so worried about losing him in a crowd as I am losing him to the crowd, or losing the crowd to him. More to the point, or losing what the crowd is holding. That little sneaky little. I love that kid.
Yes, one of the packages in the in the gift in the gift pile was actually labeled to Evan from Darvin, and little pull away note underneath that in Alice's handwriting just being, "This is the safer flavors of beans in little parcels." Yeah.
Thank the gods.
Yeah.
This is the first.
Yeah, that's the thing. Alice is not all that great at gifts to you guys, but she's great at gifts that would come from you guys.
Interpretive analyses.
That's the thing. She knows what you would give. It's just you guys are a little bit less than forthcoming about what you'd like to get. Because you are a generous bunch of individuals, and you give more than you receive most of the time. And you certainly don't ask for much. And Zana is just kind of looking at Alice and is just going, "Can you do the wings, please?" I can do the regular ones, yes. The 10-minute ones, the tattoo ones, got used earlier today, but yeah, okay. I think it's bright enough in here that nobody has to shield their eyes, and can show you the kind of new bit. And extends the wings, and the halo starts as well. And in that dress, it really is just. You've got everybody just sort of going, wow.
Well, if you didn't shine before, you certainly do now.
Yeah, well, I'm not wearing this while adventuring. I've
Probably
lost
best not, yeah.
I've lost too many. I've lost one nice dress to this, and one is one too many.
That's fair.
That is fair.
Lissy's like, don't worry, the clothes I gave you were pretty sturdy. They can probably be patched back up with a bit of mending. I know. It's you guys are good that way. But, the people who are making fancy dresses are generally making them for fancy and not for durability. Because they want you to keep buying more of them. Plus, looking at Xana, plus, seasonal changes in fashion kind of thing. They do that here? Yeah, it's not just for the nobility here. And even Hazel has never seen a smile this bright on Xana's face.
I think she can see through time.
This is totally
Weird being on the other end of that expression.
All right. Say goodbye to everybody because they have business to attend to tomorrow, and we have exploration to do. So we should let everybody get a good night's sleep. Many, many hugs all the way around. Even Candor sort of does the side hug quickly to Clarity. He's still not all that great. Lissy sort of steps up to Alice once the wings and the halo have died down and is sort of holds arms out in kind of tentative for hug and just gets this sort of cuddle in that kind of, I know you need the hug and I know you're concerned about it not being wanted, but trust me, it's wanted. So there's a whole fair bit of snuggle. Okay, guys. And Twilly is just, we can keep singing carols to entertain people on the way through. I know it's late, but this is Egref. There's a lot of night owls in Egref. Trust me, I know, I was one.
And more than a few permanently exhausted pigeons.
Not really, no, that's what some of the coffee around here is for.
Ah, fair.
There's also these energy drinks. Do not let Hazel have the energy drinks.
That was my immediate thought.
I'm already concerned about that because I saw some of the labels on the coffee things while I was out getting presents. Why is there a skull and crossbones on some of them?
Because if you drink too much of it, you will die.
That is terrifying.
Well, that's a very straightforward answer.
If you think that's bad, you should see the energy chews. One of those has about the same caffeine content as one of those mugs of Alice's coffee.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I got some of those. No, Hazel, you can't have any.
I don't want any!
Good. I don't want any. Shoot. Dang. Yikes.
Look, you can't blame me for saying. You always want to try everything.
That's why I'm affirming I don't want any for once.
You yourself are the one for surprise, sir.
Fair point.
I'm gonna give Clarity one in the morning, though. So, we'll see if it works any faster than the coffee.
I'm going to move over to Candor and I'll try my best to keep her from getting too vibrating into the sun like I do.
Just keep her alive, it's all I ask.
You got it. I'm gonna fist bump him.
Bump. And with that, and Faraday and Skylar are just sort of going, you're gonna be careful, right? First off. And Faraday looks at her, it's like, well, to be fair, he's probably not. But he's got good people. Good. Because I know paladins have oaths. I know Miss Remy has a different oath than Miss Nora did. And if any of that hurts you, like not coming back hurts you, I'm taking Miss Remy's oath.
Jesus. I think we broke him.
I will do my damnedest to make sure that doesn't happen.
Alice says, just so will all of us.
Mhm.
As much as he lets me.
I was thinking back to the time where he against with Archive that was like, let's not mention that.
Yeah. Good, because I think there's probably better oaths than charging after things and murdering them for being nasty. But I mean, Miss Remy does more than that, so that would probably be okay. But I don't want to have to go on lifelong quest for revenge because I'd rather have you. And Faraday just sort of points a little clawed thumb at Skylar's like, what she said. If I was gonna do wizarding anyway, but I was gonna try to do more. Okay, less things that go boom. But if I have to do things that go boom to help her avenge you, then that's what I'm gonna do.
Darvin's just over here with this expression in his face, like, "Oh my god, this is the cutest thing ever," and I love them. And oh my goodness.
But on the other hand, you also remember Froseth freaking out when the first time they said this. We know things happen, but if we don't have you anymore, we have to do something. And Faraday's just, you only just got me back! And that shouldn't have been possible, and it needs to be made the most of.
Yes.
And more hugs. It's okay,
Hugs.
you don't have to say anything. We know it's a lot. But we're gonna love you anyway. And we're gonna be wordy about it, because that's what we do. And Skylar's like, I like her, she has more words than me. Come on, let's give poor Froseth a moment to breathe. Happy Orlemus, all of you. Stay safe, stay well, stay happy.
Take care.
And off they go, singing Orlemus hymns dwindling off into the Eggref evening, and Alice is just kind of sitting there. I know it's a lot, but happy Orlemus, guys.
It's a
Happy.
very
Happy
good
Orlemus.
Yes.
Right. Not that I've been wearing it very long, but I guess probably time to get into something more sleepable in. I think Remy put an eye out on some of this. If yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not have you waking up with wing patterns in your face in the morning. And failing anything else, I know Hazel might have wanted a word, so I don't know if she wants to do that now or Alice, I recall.
Yeah, now is probably good.
So, but
I'm just gonna follow her towards wherever she's going to go get changed, and we're just gonna have a conversation about that.
her and Remy's room. So
Yeah.
she might want to.
Wait nearby.
Well, she'd be staying in the room because that's where they're going to sleep. So, if you want to have a one-on-one conversation, you might want to stop her and have a quick
order
word.
of operations, brain.
Yep. That's why I'm walking you through it step by step.
Thank. Anyhow, yeah, I'm gonna pull her aside when.
Oop, I'll be right there. This seems to be a theme, Ree. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yes? I didn't overstep with the family, did I?
No, not even. In fact, this just reemphasizes that my mistake was a pretty massive one when I asked you for the funds for the diamond.
I'll get it back. I get why. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you only just got the power to be able to do that, and you were really excited about it, and your immediate thought went to where who you knew had the funds for something that big.
Yeah,
Because
sort
I
of.
don't think we have party funds to cover that. I
There's
mean,
a very
maybe if we drained all of it, and even then, because that was a pretty big diamond chunk you were talking. I know I'll
Yeah,
get it.
but
I know I'll get it back. I mean, it would have been nice if you'd thought about why I'm amassing that much, but you get excited. I can be understanding.
yeah, I'm just a little.
You
It's
you want to apologize for the not thinking about it, which is good. I'm just letting you know that I do get it, and I guess I'm explaining why I get it, because I don't know a whole lot about the cleric hood, but Paylor in particular seems to be a lot about the love and the pretty much universal acceptance the sun shines across all lands and all things. So I guess by trying to explain why I can shine that across all things, even if it was a little bit, I am not your personal bank, I can, I guess, be a little bit of help when someone is like that in your general direction, because I know that when you get offended by something, although that's usually somebody doing something to other people, you tend to go floof. So maybe that'll help as perspective in the future. And also, along with some of the other stuff, let you know that it's not a permanent offended thing. And I know you'll make it right.
yeah. Next time I won't take nearly as long to realize, and ideally I'll figure it out before I step face first into something.
And if you don't, you'll learn. You've been good with that. You're kind of like a less eloquent version of Darwin in that way. You seldom make the same mistake twice. You're a young cleric. You still have stuff to learn. And sometimes the only way of learning is making the mistakes, and just be glad that you're making them with people who will understand.
Yeah.
Better you make them with somebody who does understand than somebody who might not. So, yeah, I was a little bit frustrated about it, but I'll get it back, and I'd rather you put your foot into it with me than get yourself or any of the rest of us in trouble by doing it with a moderate stranger. So it's cool. But thank you.
Yeah. You are, as usual, far better than most of this world would ever deserve, honestly.
Well, they had to have put me as me with the family I had for a reason, so I don't know. I don't want to be full of myself enough to say that maybe I am sort of vaguely, indirectly Paylor's way of saying, here you go, you've done good. Have a barbarian. I don't know, but I'm here. You guys are my pack. I'm gonna be as patient as I can. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna want to slap you upside the head occasionally, but you have siblings. You must know what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
Ruff, ruff, ruff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't say it because I think it's something that Ava for now needs to have for herself, but you guys are like my pack siblings except for Ree, and that's different.
Yeah.
So, I may not use the term, and that term I think is going to be Ava's, but
Mm-hmm.
your family, that's cool. But I will get it back because someday, assuming I survive this, which I'm assuming you still want me to do,
You can be sure of that.
I might actually want a home somewhere.
Well,
That
that's one of the things I'm
isn't
going to make sure you get.
Yeah, that isn't a room at Hearthhome, although it'll be nice to have it as a possibility. I was actually talking with Ree about if you have your druthers and the trains do start moving, it might be easier visiting.
So long
And,
as you get a place to live that you
um,
enjoy.
there might have been talk about Belarus picnics on beach with one of those those big, shaggy, dumb as opposed dogs that really like swimming.
The really huge fluff, the ones that look like sheepdogs except more fluffy.
Yeah. Because I could never have a small, discreet, quiet pet. I mean, it's me we're talking about here.
Yeah, you were the one who, if I recall,
My
what
last
you
pet was
said
a
about
riding moose.
exactly the moose.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be an introduction for the ages if and when that happens.
Well, it has to be because if you ever want to give Clarity a sort of bedtime story, you should tell her some of the bits I was telling Ree about the Silver Vault. I mean, there's the Antechamber of Stars. Everybody has access to, and you could spend a week in there alone. One of the things they have is the Scroll of Heroes, which is all the great heroes of the world, and there's cross references if you have the access to the right bits of the vault. There's all the histories about them, all the ballads about them, any written down things about them you could find. In the Silver Vault, there's, according to legend anyway, you can find the truth behind every myth, the answer to every question and riddle. There's a copy of, I think, every book, every piece of art.
Each and every one.
She'd have to earn an awful lot of access, and she'd have to do some pretty impressive shit to do it, but she could probably spend a whole lifetime and still not get everything. Although I really do have to check the Antechamber of Stars and see if we've made the Scroll of Heroes yet.
Mm-hmm. Considering we already made the stained glass around here. You in particular.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Maybe one day, you guys. I hope so, because maybe that'll take some of the attention off me. But if I'm gonna have to be on the freaking stained glass, I'm gonna own it.
You will. You do that. You just do things.
Yes, I do, and hell, now I'm taking credit for what I facilitated gravity doing. Anyway, Shu, off with you. I appreciate the apology. I'll get it back. It's good. It's fine. And I hope that arranging the family get-together shows I'm not upset.
Yeah, it does. Rest good, okay?
Ruffle.
I'm just gonna head off. Just not even bother smoothing out the ruffle. I'm just gonna walk off with the ruffle still sticking out.
Well, to be fair, given how her hair is tied, it's mostly just having ruffled the fringe a little bit, so it probably shows off a bit more of the
Like,
hospitality glyph, yeah. So, night happens, morning happens, then it's Polly knocking, and I have arranged for cinnamon rolls, and I called into one of the local diners because I was made understood to me that at least one of you is a particular fan of bacon. So I have arranged for bacon.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Clarity.
Yay!
Well, Alice is also a fan of bacon, but she wouldn't ask for her. She'd ask for Clarity. She'd ask for anybody else, not her. She's as bad as the rest of you put together. You know it.
Yep.
So yeah, you come down to fruit, breakfast pastries with heavy on the cinnamon rolls and a large plate of bacon. And Alice, on first seeing Clarity, she hands her this little brown cube.
Ooh. Comp.
It tastes like chocolate and a little bit like coffee, and all of a sudden you're awake.
Whoa!
There's so much freaking caffeine.
That's a fact.
Whew. I'm going to need to wash that down with bacon and cinnamon roll.
Yeah, I'd stay away from. I'd stay away from the coffee.
Okay.
Steering her towards the bacon and the fruit.
Tess, can you remind me the arrows and bolts I got? Was it 3 fire arrows and what was the other one again?
Kind of. I'm gonna have to look back at the. It doesn't really matter over much at the moment. We can, we're not getting into anything combat related until. So we can, but we can give them out in one of the towns, in one of the mining consortium townships. It'll make life easier because I have not had the time to reorder people's character sheets, but I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah, I haven't forgotten. I've just been a little bit too busy, so I'll make the appropriate notes in time for the next session. So it's probably just as well that Brian couldn't join us this time. And of course, Barnabas is looking at Clarity having had the gone from coffee to whoa, and looking at Alice and going, could I have one of those? No. And he's got that I can see time expression, which is leavened with a little bit of that, the same approximate expression as when he was trying the fudge. So it's
It's still weird being on this side of that expression.
You can't have all of them, but I will give you half. No, you don't have to. You can have half. Thank you. And still kind of jittering and filling his face with bacon.
Darvin's just got his cup. He's just, I'm good. Nope.
Does anybody else want to try one of these things?
I'm all right, thank you.
I'm keeping them for special occasions, and half for Barnabas.
And they'd probably be good in an emergency, I suppose, if we need to be like right then, So.
I will explode.
Probably.
Or you just metabolize it faster than any of us give you credit for. I'm not entirely sure I want to trust that when we're about to go meet new people.
Yeah, testing that right now would be a bad plan.
Yeah, and we probably don't want you jittery in the bits of tunnel where we aren't going to be dealing with the Mining Consortium individuals. I don't want to see you that jittery in a mining cart. I don't even know what their mining carts here look like, but any of the pictures going through my head, it would be bad.
They're pretty vivid given Bard.
Yeah, but it's Egrith. Egrith
Also
exists to surprise everybody. Polly is just, well, I hope you come back to. I hope you'll come back to stay with me again sometime. And not just because you are very good customers. Even if you come in very late and very loud and very drunk at least once. Everybody does it at least once, and you are young. Most of you. Then Barnabas is just.
Thank you again for being, well, here.
Mhm.
This place is amazing.
It has been in the family for a while, and it was wonderful to see Twila again. And to meet her wife! We never got around to having Miranda here.
They are lovely.
She stopped by briefly to see various cousins, and I'm going to have to tell my brother that she was by with her lovely wife. With her many, many knives. I did promise.
I mean,
Polly, you are a delight, and I adore you. You are wonderful. Thank you so much for being your unbelievable self.
Oh, I do. I suppose technically I could be somebody else, but that would be tricky and probably not as much fun. And with breakfast and I mean, your stay has been covered by a gubernatorial diktat, basically. So she's getting appropriately paid for this. Don't worry.
Wow.
You head off on your on the little tram up.
I try to scritch as many cats as I can before I go.
Yeah, the cats, funnily enough, particularly since you got that new mark, they've practically lined up for petting.
Oh God.
Now it's your turn, and then your turn.
Well, yeah, they're not hugely vocal cats. They're old. It's rustiest purrs for the most part. And off you go on the tram, and I mean, now even Clarity has seen that particular lift up, because they would have gone up to start from that height, so that Alice didn't have to waste any of her 10 minutes climbing. And yeah, Alice is sort of keeping an eye on Ava, because she does eventually sort of sidle up to Ava and goes, I kind of wanted to take you on the aerial tour, but first it occurred to me that I know that you're afraid of heights, but then I was like, maybe I'm doing you a disservice by not asking, because, just because you're afraid of it doesn't mean you're not going to do it. I mean, when we suggested you stay down during the bottled lightning thing, you decided to go up anyway, so I guess, in like 10 minutes before we go in, I'm pretty sure we can spare that. Did you wanna?
I think I could manage that if it's with you.
Okay.
So,
And she's asking this while you're on the lift, so it's like, all right. If you guys want to entertain yourselves for like 10 minutes, I'll be back with Ava. And, because seriously, you gotta see this to believe it. And does the piggyback thing. And off you go. And yeah, it's a little disconcerting because there's nothing between you and an awful lot of ground but Alice. And yeah,
she's steady, so she I know she'd never let me.
No, but she's not sparing you over much either. So she's not she's not going too slow, at least in part because going too slow might be concerning to you. But she gives the same flight as she gave Farida and Darwin and Clarity. This early, because this late in the season, you guys have left early enough that the sun is only just starting to come up, and Egref is only just starting to wake up. So you get to see something the others didn't get to see. As you're flying past the governor's building, you don't see that little red-haired face in the window. You see a massive copper dragon curled up on the top of the ziggurat, looks up at you. And seeing an ancient copper dragon grin is an experience. And actually sort of rears up and spreads out the wings in greeting. And then zoop becomes Calatiel just a wave. Clearly deciding that, people are awake now, I guess I have to go back to being little. And Alice is just like, okay, I'm really glad I took you this time. But yeah, with the rising sun and the fake lights are only just beginning to start switching off, you get even more of the glitter and rainbow glow of Egref than the others did. And 9.5 minutes later, she makes sure to not have to pop her wings. She comes back with Ava, lands, sets her down. These are going to be another few seconds, but I wanted to give plenty of time. So we had an interesting sight.
Indeed.
You guys probably didn't really spot it from here. I think there's a couple of buildings in the way, but we got to see Calatiel's natural form.
Really?
He was apparently like sleeping on the roof of his ziggurat.
Suppose that does make sense for a dragon.
Well, you got to imagine he probably doesn't like being squished humanoid size all the time. Wonder if he goes flying at night. Probably.
Probably wants to stretch his wings from time to time.
And, well, I kind of figure that's thinking about it now that I know, that's probably how. Because I did always kind of wonder how, when I heard that, we don't get taxed all that much in Belarus, not the amount, but Fortinbras always pays his mercenaries well when he doesn't ask that much for contracts. And I wondered where he made up the extra. With reasonable taxes and reasonable rates for the mercenaries, yet he pays the mercenaries pretty damn well, yes?
Yep.
And then I realized, bronze dragon. Lot more of the sort of water, and tends to get treasure from like shipwrecks and things. It's probably how he's paying for stuff.
Maybe.
Not that it's hugely important. It's trivia, and trivia is cool.
Yeah.
Besides, we need to build Darwin's Bard trivia up. Well, come on, it's Baronsvira. That's not your fault. Not your fault that Baronsvira's has been ruled up until hopefully soon by an asshat who likes to live in his own isolationist. No, not even. Right. Onward. And follows the signs that you guys didn't follow the last time, because you still see the tourism experimental and further into the mountain Mining Consortium. There's another elevator. This one goes down. Way down. This one you're about 5 minutes, and it's mostly dark. There's a couple of lights on in the shaft, because it's basically shaft platform, large platform. It's clearly
Oh.
something they bring things up. This is a mine shaft.
It's a freight elevator. Holy shit.
Well, they freight elevators can hold people.
Yeah. this is
Regular
just-
elevators can't hold freight, so
This
you
is
know,
the full-on Akira elevator-looking thing.
and yeah, it's about 5 minutes at a not inconsiderable pace, going down. You remember this is a little bit faster than the wall lift, and then you realize that you must have passed ground level by now, and you're still going.
I'm just trying to see back from where we came. See if the
Yeah, I mean,
the point of the light.
you've passed other levels that have been largely dim, but corridors that there's somewhere between corridor and mine shaft. But they're clearly not into any place that's office-like. And down. And down. And down. And you finally stop. Slight jung. And now you are looking at a corridor. It's another of that style of it's clearly been carved into the rock, but you've still got your benches, your little nooks where people have put little accent pieces. It's clearly meant to be a little bit hospitable, but it's still mostly made of rock. And out you step, and there are little doors, sort of, maintenance officer. Then there's one that's just science and experimental, and a little parchment sign stuck underneath going, "Enter at your own risk." And from somewhere behind there is a series of muted boom, 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 boom. And smoke comes from underneath the door, and from inside, clearly from a long distance away from the door, but loud enough to be heard, "I meant to do that!"
Darwin's just backing away from that, going, nope, nope,
Same.
nope, nope, nope,
So
nope.
no, it's not the voice we.
No, it's younger for a start. And not entirely sure if male or female, too far away, but younger, and with Egref accent version of Ali Sweetwater.
Given this is the only door that we've heard sounds come from, I'm gonna walk over to it and.
No, that's not us. But you've knocked anyway, and pad. Click. You look down, and there is the shortest little gnome woman you've ever seen. You think the hair is red under the soot? Little button nose. You can't really see her eyes because she's wearing goggles and they are completely covered in soot. Hello? Hello? Did something happen to the lights again?
Hold on, and I'm going to use the mark to get the prestidigitation stuff.
Oh yes, no, of course, because there was explosions. You do not work for the Mining Consortium? Can I help you?
I was just trying to.
I assure you
Right,
that I
just
meant to do that.
We were mandated to
DM
take
brief.
care of the.
Hang on, Smeagol.
Brief question. We were sent to talk to who first out of who were we directed to? I'm just having.
Well, nobody asked Alice
disconnect.
that. She was leading the way, but Hazel heard explosions and decided to knock on the door. So I'm just running with this now.
Okay.
And she squints at you a little bit more and goes,
TikTok.
"Are you adventurous?"
Yes. LSA.
I tried to tell you.
I think
This
we
was
took
not
flight wrong
the door.
time.
Yeah, it hit me like a second too late.
No, but this is Providence.
Well,
For you. And you're going further into the tunnels. I could really use your help.
That
With what?
depends.
I can pay.
Still
Help me.
depends.
What sort of help would you need?
You see, I have these experimental booms, and I need them set in certain places further into the mining tunnels than I normally go. And it's in the cliff direction. You are the ones who are heading in the cliff direction. You are the ones who are going to kill the dragon. This will be no problem for you.
I look at the others.
I'm looking at Froseth on this one because I'm like, nah, this is a bad idea. I'm looking at Froseth going with a look on my face, going, "This is a bad idea. Isn't this a bad idea? Is this a bad idea?"
When you say experimental, what do you mean
Oh,
exactly?
Well, you see, that is the thing. I have tested them properly. It is just that I have never tried them in the wild before.
Oh.
So it's not as in they're unstable.
It's not that I've never used them before, no, but I need to. I have had. Look, and she pads on in, and if you look, it is covered. There's shelves and drawers and a desk, probably somewhere, in bits of paperwork. And clearly, there's another door behind there that's clearly workshop, but this is where all the flammable shit stays. And he's digging through various piles and going, no, that is. Why did they turn down this requisition? I have to ask them about this, and stuffs it down her cleavage. And eventually, she comes out with this paper, which she pads up and stands on tiptoe and kind of tries to shove in Darvin's face. It's just, this is this is where I have the permission to set it if I can go, but the trip is days, and besides they're going to probably ask you to slay things on the way anyway. So you will be inside tunnels, and then there is going to be the dragon, and I can't. I promise you.
Okay.
Ava, basically, and correct me if I'm wrong. You've rehearsed, you just haven't played it before a live audience.
He's a bard. I apologize already.
I'm using a metaphor I get.
I say it's just I'm a bard. I don't talk like that.
Well, I'm just trying
Fair
to
point.
get what.
So you've tested the theory, you just haven't put them in a real situation. Then,
Oh, no, I've tested the practice. I have just never used them in an official mining tunnel before.
All right.
And you have permission.
It's pointing at the paper. It's just, look!
Well,
And it does
just hand it to Clarity.
As far
Take
as you
that.
can tell from, you don't really know what Mining Consortium paperwork looks like, but it looks, it looks official. And Alice is like, okay, I don't know what this paperwork looks like, but she's definitely not lying. Overexcitable, but definitely not lying.
And not liable to and clearly testing things in actual controlled circumstances, unlike the Furbies and the Wasps and the T-Trays.
mhm.
Time to tell me about these things. But you do not. It is clear that you have many things to do, including dragon slaying. And no. Would you?
I'm
Yes.
for it.
I'm seconded.
All right.
I mean, if it's on our way, I guess, why not?
It is very definitely on your way, because we are. It is better to use it in tunnels that have not been mined overly, so that if there is something unexpected, it does not decrease production. Besides, it's better with up. If we do it down, then things... It might get a little bit complicated. I have a map! You'll probably have another map, but this is going to be the other map, and then there are things. I will get that, and I will get payment, and I will get your boom. Don't worry, it is very portable boom. I promise. This is why. This is the theory. You see. And boom.
Okay,
Okay.
2 things.
And you say this after she's run off, and
Yeah.
we basically agreed.
Well, we'll have to ask when she gets back. What are the chances of going off carrying them?
That's what I was trying to say.
well,
I'm hoping not.
I
But
have a feeling that part of the reason that I think I have a feeling it takes the bit of paper and gives it a fairly once over. No, part of the testing was actually portability
okay.
because we have paperwork. We're actually looking at more than permission here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's portability, area of effect, and they're saying something about size to demolitions ratio.
Huh.
So I have a feeling that this is something compact and stable until something else is done with it. Clearly from a distance, because they're talking about 30 feet. And time delay 30 seconds. So effectively it seems to be okay, no, that can't be right. 6 inches diameter?
It does seem rather small.
Well, maybe that's the
Point.
yeah, because sorry, that's about a foot. 6 inches is more.
Yeah.
Is-
I was confusing my diameter and radius.
Yeah. Yeah, I know
would-
that I know that D&D is usually radius, but diameter
Yeah.
to make it like I don't know the average the size of an average curling ball, or softball or something like that.
That
Something
would not be very big. Huh.
Maybe he's got some very potent explosive power or something.
that's probably why the testing.
Mm-hmm.
So they wouldn't want it bringing the entire system down.
Well, I think the thing is from this that they expect it to be less destructive than she's claiming that it is. And she's trying to prove that it is as destructive as she claims it to be. So basically this is an I'll show them all.
Huh.
I can live with that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm game for this.
Yeah,
I'm
and
really game for this now.
I mean, and in terms of whether or not it'll explode, I mean, we do have bags of holding. I'm assuming it would be okay to put in those. We probably want to ask that too. And if it is, wouldn't that stop it from?
Well, nothing else would touch it.
Right.
Exactly.
I guess that would be safe, yeah.
Yeah, the only reason that would be dangerous is if it did things as if if it interacts with bags of holdings in a weird way.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. We might want to ask.
Just in case. Since we don't know what's gone into these things.
She comes padding back with one jingling bag of fairly significant size, and one about the size of your bag of jelly beans. Yeah, the one of the bigger bags of jelly beans, but it looks almost empty. These are your explosives? Little bag.
I
I will show you. And she puts the other bag down, opens it, reaches in, and pulls out. Yeah, it's about the size of a softball.
Huh.
It's this really odd shade of burnt ochre.
Interesting. I have a small question. We realized this a little bit while you were getting those. Do they have any weird interactions with, say, a bag of holding?
They're already in them.
Yeah.
And it's just, she puts it back in the bag and shows this empty-looking sack. And then reaches back in and pulls out the
Oh.
teeth. And Alice is like, I noticed what she did there.
That's nicely done.
He puts it back in and it actually gives the bag to Alice. Okay, you are the one with the sands.
Mhm.
Look at
Yeah,
these. Now, do you have a group fund thing?
just gonna point it for us, Seth.
Yeah.
Okay, then there shall be. And picks up the other bag, which is the actual decent sized bag. In there is 100 platinum, so that is 200 gold for your party funds, and the rest divided among you. And Barnabas just going, I can live with that. I get paid a great deal of money for my testings. It's just that
Apparently.
we seldom have the adventurers who come through who can get to the places that I need to go. And if I went, then I would be losing a week's worth of testing time. Research and development takes time.
And there's
And if I leave some of my glow lichen, it might start developing sentience again, and that was particularly bad when that happened the last time.
sentience.
Sentient lichen, you say?
It grew a face and started giving me grief over my interior decoration choices.
Now that's just rude.
Oh, but I suppose I can understand. If you have to live on a wall, you probably want it to be a nice one.
I mean, that's fair, but there's tact. There's a way to. Anyway,
Sounds like you were growing bad roommates.
You know, I'm pretty sure that there is a joke shop. Actually, there are about 6 joke shops in the town, in the city center, that would probably actually like the plans for these. More research and development, Marnies. Anyway, thank you very much. You seem to be a note-taking kind of individual, and probably Barnabas and Clarity both in unison. Yeah. If you could jot down the notes, you can just hand it to anybody, and we can have all the notes can be sent back to me, so you do not have to come back if you do not want to, because I know that a lot of people do not want to come in here because they are afraid that the paperwork is going to eat them. And some of them, even though I have 5 years of not being like some of my compatriots, they keep insisting that anybody who hangs around does explosives as much as I do is going to be a problem. I am not a problem.
You sound like the opposite of a problem. You sound like endless fun.
Pat, hug. Thank you.
Is gonna return hug.
Sort of leans over. Okay, so now who feels bad about wanting to... leans to Darwin now. Who feels bad about wanting to turn her down? And anyway, the sooner we go, the sooner we can get your testing done. Thanks very much. No, thank you. Really, it is so wonderful to have someone who actually listens to me properly and assumes I cannot hear anything because of the bumps. I wear ear protection, not like Mr. Lightning up there. Thank you. Have a lovely day. And then she quietly shuts the door behind you. Well, okay.
Yeah, I guess.
That happened?
Yeah.
Sometimes knocking on the wrong door is not that bad a thing. And that's our Ormus shopping money paid back and then some. Right, let's go actually find the people we need to talk to. And we are at that time, so we've stalled just enough to let Barnabas join us at the more crucial junctures of this particular bit of adventure, which is talking to mining executives.
Side quest, get!
Yes, thank you. Look, if you were gonna knock on a random door, I wasn't gonna just let it be go away. It's just one of many side quests that I'm sure that you can expect to pick up, because I know that some of you are or were up until recently running a little bit low on your personal funds. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Little
I'll
bit.
see y'all in 2 weeks' time when we actually get this dragon slaying party started.
Mm.